Hello Year 6, Mrs Greene here, and I'm going to be taking you through this week's spellings. Before I do that, I just want to say a massive well done to the children who've been engaging with our YouTube lessons, to the children who've been logging on to Spelling Shed, and also for the children who've been listening to our new class text, Wonder. Okay, so before we look at this week's spelling learning objective, we're just going to rewind back to last week. Now last week we were looking at the use of adverbs synonymous with determination, and we discussed that learning objective. So it meant to have words that describe verbs that have a similar meaning to being determined. Okay, and you might remember that we looked at this game as well last week, so we're going to do it again today. So this game is called the odd one out. Now there are some words on here, and most of them are synonymous with determination, but there is one that is the odd one out. So what I want you to do is pause the video now and have a bit of a think. Think about the ones that you know, maybe go and get a dictionary or talk to your family at home. Which one has a slightly different meaning? Okay, so let's have a look at them. Purposefully. We've all heard of that word. We know that means to show determination. So definitely a synonym of being determined. Conscientiously. That means that you're thorough and you're responsible. Also a synonym of being determined. Industriously. That means you are diligent and hardworking. And people who are diligent and hardworking tend to be very determined. Lavishly. One of the words that stood out in the spellings last week. That means to do things in an artful manner. Okay, so learning about those different definitions, we can see that this one is the odd one out. Okay, we're going to have to go at another one of these games. Okay, again, there are some words that are synonymous with determination, but one is the odd one out. So pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so having a look at relentlessly. This means to keep going, to not give up. Definitely a synonym of being determined. Persistently means again to keep going, to keep repeating. Again, a synonym of being determined. Tenaciously. This means to have a firm hold on something or to do things in a determined manner. Dutifully. This is linked very much with the word to be obedient, which means that you're motivated by a duty or by an order rather than desire. So this one has to be the odd one out. Okay, having a look at another challenge. As you can see on the board, there are some sentences with blanks. Okay, these sentences contain words that are synonymous with determination. So the blanks are words that are synonyms of being determined. So I'm going to read them out, and as I read them, I want you to have a go at spelling the blank words, to spell the words that are synonymous with determination. Okay, here we go. To not be seen, Augie wore his astronaut helmet relentlessly. Number 2. August determinedly began to walk to the school gates. Number 3. He clenched his teeth tenaciously as Julian made smirk comments. So the words you're spelling: relentlessly, determinedly, and tenaciously. So pause the video if you want to just double check. Okay, relentlessly, relentlessly, determinedly, and finally tenaciously. Right, let's have a look at this week's learning objective. Okay, to spell adjectives to describe settings. Right, so just going to go over some of the key vocabulary for this lesson. Of course, a setting, which is the time and geographic location of a story that gives context. Adjectives, which are words to describe nouns. Now, using adjectives to describe nouns is a really, really important skill. A well-described setting can make it more interesting for readers or listeners to completely immerse themselves in a place. So imagine when you're reading something that the description is so powerful that it actually creates a vivid image in your mind. Right, first of all, we're just going to check our ability to identify adjectives. Now, a minute ago we talked about how an adjective is a word to describe a noun. So we need to be able to identify a noun first. So I'm going to read out some sentences and I'm going to underline the noun and then we're going to talk about the adjective. So, I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. Well, kid is the noun, a person, place or thing. So what words are describing the kid? Well, in this instance, we've got a few. So, ordinary 10-year-old kid. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. When she looked into my tiny, mushed-up face, all she could see was pretty eyes. So, what's the noun in that sentence? What's the person, place, or thing? Well, we've got face in this instance. So what's describing, and we've also got eyes, so what's describing the face and what's describing the eyes? Okay, let's have a look at the adjective. So we've got tiny, mushed up, and we've also got pretty. Let's have a look at the next one. We ended up in a small room with the words middle school director on the door. Okay, so we ended up in a small room. Okay, there's a noun with words middle school director on the door. Okay, and the adjective in this one is a small room. So, what I've done is I've thought very carefully about all of the topics that we've covered this year in Year 6, and I've put up some pictures. So we've got a picture which illustrates World War I. I've got a picture of London, which is linked to Stormbreaker, as well as this one here of a scrapyard, and we've also got a beautiful beach, which is linked to Kenzuki's Kingdom, Kenzuki's Island. Okay, and I'm just going to have a think about what adjectives I could use to describe these settings. But the adjectives that are really powerful, that again will allow me to create a really clear, vivid image in someone's mind. So I'm going to have a look at the World War I setting, which looks like no man's land. I'm going to go for quite an adventurous word, ominous. And that means that there's a feeling that something bad could happen or is approaching. But I'm also going to go for eerie as well. It might give the feeling of something ghostly. I'm going to have a look at this Kenzuki's Kingdom now. Think of a word again that is going to make the person reading fully picture. I'm going to go for serene. Okay, serene means it's really calm and peaceful, and we can all imagine just being on a beach now. I'm also going to go for beautiful. Okay, a word to describe London that would really make somebody understand. Okay, well, I'm going to go for grand. And that helps us understand the size of it, but also all the different tourist attractions and how popular they are. Then over to the scrapyard. Thinking about that. Well, I want people to imagine actually the sound they might hear. So I'm going to go for deafening. What I'd like you to do is pause the video now, choose one of these settings, which is linked to one of the topics we've covered this year, and also have a go at writing down some quite adventurous adjectives to describe. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this week's spellings, which again are all adjectives to describe settings. We've got picturesque, magnificent, regal, tranquil, sinister, unsightly, spectacular, majestic, noiseless, and bustling. Okay, so focusing on our spelling words from this week. You may know what some of them mean, you may have heard of some of them, or you may not, and that's fine. We've got a matching activity here, where I've put the definitions of 4 of the words, and I'd like you to work out which words they could be. So you might want to pause the video now, have a little bit of a discussion with someone that's home, and decide which ones match up to which. Okay, so let's have a look. So, picturesque means visually attractive in a charming way. Spectacular means eye-catching. Majestic, impressive beauty, and regal, fit for a monarch, magnificent and dignified at the same time. Okay, I'm going to show you now on the next slide, and this is going to be my turn. I'm going to show you our spelling words again, but I'm going to highlight the ones I think are appropriate for this setting. Let's just check I've got my pen on. Right, so it looks like I've got a castle, a very, very big castle. So which words am I going to go for? Well, I think I'm going to go for magnificent, and I think I'm going to go for regal this time. And I'm going to have a think now about what sentences I could write using those adjectives. So let's have a look. I want to use the word magnificent. Okay, so the magnificent. I'm going to put another one in as well. Grand, and we talked about that word before. Grand castle. Stood proud. Okay, and I still need to have a go at using the word regal, which means magnificent, fit for a monarch. By looking at the picture, so I'm going to do regal turrets, pointed to the heavenly kingdom. Okay, so you can see we've been able to use one of our spelling words in that sentence and one there as well. Okay, let's have a go together now. So again, thinking about adjectives to describe settings, looking at our spelling words, which ones would be appropriate to describe this setting? Okay, write them down on a piece of paper. I think to describe this, I would go with that's appropriate. Some might say that too. I think this is one of my favourites as well. Okay, so using one of the words you've chosen, have a go at writing it into a sentence to describe this setting. Okay, let's have a look what I came up with. The spectacular sunlight radiates a beautiful golden light that caresses the valley. Okay, another setting. This looks a little bit more scary. Which words do you think would be appropriate? Which adjectives could you use to describe this setting? Have a go at writing them down now. Okay, well I think words I would use to describe this, I would use the word sinister. You could use the word noiseless as well. If you're imagining, if you're trying to create that atmosphere of fear, that everything's quiet but you know something bad is happening. Have a go at using the word you've chosen or the word I've chosen to put it into a sentence to describe this setting. Okay, let's have a look at what I came up with then. The sinister blackness intertwined with the noiseless emptiness of the forest. So we've had it this time. I've put more of our spelling words at the bottom of the page. We've got noiseless, bustling, sinister, magnificent, picturesque and tranquil. We need to try and find the blanks that will fit appropriately in these sentences. So, from all over the world came to visit the blank sunset on Mount Kilimanjaro. So you may have heard of Mount Kilimanjaro. Very famous, very, very high. What sort of sunset might you see? Well, I think I'm going to go for a magnificent sunset. Okay, the next one. The daisy-filled meadow was a blank sight, far removed from the blank city centre. So we've got a bit of a comparison here, a meadow with a city. Well, looking at my words, I would say that the cities are very noisy, bustling with lots of people. So what would the meadow be like out of these words? Well, definitely picturesque, if you remember the meaning. Okay, finally, entering the abandoned house, there was a moment of, let's go with sinister silence. Okay, and that takes us to our chili challenges this week. Okay, we've had a go at doing all the activities. You've seen me do it and we've had a go at doing it together. So chili 1, make sure you understand all the meanings of those words. So use the internet or use a dictionary to look at the definitions. Then have a go at practicing them using a range of different strategies, whatever you think works best for you. Could be that you get your mum to check, to test you. Could be that you do look, cover, write, check. You could write your words down in different colours. You could segment the words. You could do rainbow writing, pyramid writing, whatever you feel works for you. Chili 2, write all the spelling words down that you now know the meaning of, but also think about the antonym for those words, so words with an opposite meaning. So what's opposite to noiseless? What's opposite to picturesque? What's opposite to magnificent? Okay, and then finally 3 chili, which is what we've been having a go at. Have a go at writing your spelling words into your own sentences to describe settings. And it might be your settings are some of the settings we've looked at this year in Year 6 as well. Okay, so just a reminder that all of these words will be on Spelling Shared, and we do hope that you log on to practice and to have a go at some of the games. And also, however you approach the chili challenges, it'd be lovely for you to email them into Year 6. Just a reminder, the email address is year6@franchprimary.wooks.sc.uk, and as always we look forward to receiving your work and hearing from you.